Um, Welcome, Michelle. Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
For those of you who don't know, Michelle Lott is the founder and chief regulatory strategist at Lean RAQA. Joe Hage is the chairman. What is your title these
Yeah,
days?
I'm the man.
Right? Of the Medical Device Group, which meets every Friday, including this Friday. Who's speaking this Friday?
Oh, there would, you didn't tell me there would be quizzes.
Oh, okay. Marina Dynaco is going to be speaking about biocompatibility this Friday. And I think you came up with a funny title, Naughty or Nice. Is that what it is?
Actually, that was her idea.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Um, let's see.
And the
Uh,
following week, it should be noted, will be none other than you telling us how you use AI in your marketing, because you told me a thing or two that I did not know how to do.
okay. Well, I'm looking forward to that.
There,
Do
I
you,
put in the chat for everybody the link to join Friday's call. So
oh,
Friday is biocompatibility. The following week is Sean with AI marketing, and the following week is a featured company. Our friend Wade is going to teach us about wound cleaning with antimicrobials. And the way those work is it's kind of an open consulting session where Michelle gives a regulatory perspective, and I might give a strategy one, and Nick might give a reimbursement one. A kind of, did you think about this? And did you think about that? There. Okay, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Is that right? That's not what we're here to talk about.
no, you're going to share your screen. You're going to show
Oh,
the slide
screen
deck.
sharing. Did I mention I woke up 50 minutes ago? I
Yes,
did.
you did.
I did. In a panic. All right, I'll ask the traditional, can everybody see my screen? I know you can see my screen.
Yes. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. MedTech leaning voice. What's that? Sean Smith.
Tech Leading Voice is my publication. You can subscribe at medtechleadingvoice.com. It's a weekly publication of the best of
And the link will be in the chat now for everybody to click on.
regulatory and quality posts from LinkedIn. The reason for founding MedTech Leading Voice was LinkedIn does not make it easy to find the best of MedTech in any way whatsoever. LinkedIn shows you what it wants to show you. So we're showing you
What
the
you
stuff
need to
that's
see.
interesting, the stuff that's trending, the stuff that's worthwhile. So please subscribe. It's free. And
I'll continue.
we do lots of webinars. This webinar is very different than our usual webinars. Usually our webinars are topic driven. They're usually learn a thing or two about one regulatory aspect or quality aspect, and they usually feature one keynote speaker. This is a review of the best of the 10X Medical Device Conference, which was a few weeks ago in Long Beach, California, where we had really amazing speakers and a lot of fun. And the reason that we wanted to introduce this conference and this weekly series of the Medical Device Group to a larger audience is because we feel like it's underrated. And if you are a medical device consultant, if you are a founder, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are an engineer, if you are working in this space and you're looking for a diverse, supportive community that comes together on a weekly basis at a nominal charge, um, that's going to support you in your entrepreneurial journey the way that it supported me and Michelle and countless others in our entrepreneurial journeys. I think that you owe it to yourself to check out this group. There's no risk. You can attend this Friday with the link that Joe provided for this week's speaker on biocompatibility. Every week, you get access to experts and you get to ask them questions directly, one-on-one. You get to ask people for advice. You get to connect with other people in the Slack channel. You get all sorts of support that you're not going to find anywhere else. You want to go to the next slide?
Sure, I do. And boy, that was the best commercial I ever heard for the thing that I started more than 4 years ago. I should have hired you myself.
Longer than that.
My mistake. Look, pictures. Sean made them.
So we pulled together a slide deck. We wanted to show you, it really is a fun time. We really do have fun, and we do have fun on the weekly calls. It's less formal than a lot of the things that you're going to attend. It's not like you walk into a giant conference room and are faced with, oh, where am I going to sit? Everyone is welcoming, everyone is friendly. It's really wonderful. Michelle, what can you tell us about having fun at 10X?
She's a 5-timer.
Yeah, it always amazes me that these people that you see on the weekly calls that, you may or may not really get to interact with based on your role on the call. When you all get in public, it's like a long lost friend. And it really is a true community. And I'm an introvert, and I don't like people or big
I
groups.
don't like people. Now, that is the quote. We need to make a little school for you.
No,
Yeah.
we're just going
That's
to
going on your timeline.
But my point is, I like these people.
Yeah.
So
And it really does feel like when you find your clique, when you find your groove, when you find your tribe, that's the kind of feeling that you get there. And fortunately, you have the opportunity to try it before you buy it. You want to go to the next slide?
I do, but only after I talk about this picture here. And I don't think Alyssa was able to join us yet because she's taking her first vacation for 3 years. She's an entrepreneur. She's starting her own company. And this guy, Mark Viscogliosi, is a VC who runs hundreds of millions of dollars in orthopedics primarily. And she's come out with an orthopedics idea. And at the risk of sounding egocentric, I helped her meet him, and it's likely that he's going to give her a lot of money. So I got them both on stage, and I asked them to recount their story and how she found him at a conference and how she persisted and how he gets more than 1,000 requests a year for a conversation, but she was one of the 6 that he even saw that year. And so I'm making a little love connection there. So I thought that was really great. I love to see people come together like this. So there's the laugh slide.
Yeah, and that was
There's
really
the think slide.
one of the spontaneous moments. There were some times where Joe just threw people on the stage during the event with little to no preparation. And that was one of them where they got up there and recounted their story. And the videos, I believe, are available, aren't they?
Yes, they are. And I can give you that link. And I know that, let's see, I see some folks who were there, and one of them is Alyssa, and I'm trying, oh, there she is. I'm going to promote her to be a panelist. And Patricia was there. I'm going to promote her to be a panelist. Let's see, who else was there?
while you're looking through that, just while we're on the think slide, I think another advantage is that the presentations are 20 to 30 minutes piece. So it's almost, everything is almost a speed dump of information. And you just get an overview of everything, to packaging, to reimbursement, to design and development, regulatory, what the latest trends in startups are, what the latest trends in investment is. It's just really fascinating, the breadth of things that you get exposed to. And then if you have a specific question later on, who to go back to and ask for help or support in your projects.
Right. And that really distinguishes this conference from any other conference that I've attended where the networking is really encouraged. It's not like, oh, what's the ROI on this conference? Joe and I have had this conversation many times. It's like the ROI on this conference is that you build a structured community around yourself to support yourself in your business endeavor. That's the ROI of belonging to this group. It may result in new business, it may result in funding, it may result in new clients, it may result, or it may just result in the support that you need to be a successful entrepreneur.
I think of this as, first, it's an annual reunion for family. that I told the story that most conferences have big bosses and it's a big, they spend hundreds of thousands, if not $1 million on promoting the thing. I don't. It's traditionally just been me, and I'll get back to that in a moment. And almost every conference has sponsors, and you have booths, and you have scanning badges and the like. And I just don't, because every single person there, I give everyone the list of everyone who's going to be there, the link to their profiles. I'll personally introduce you. Why would you pay 5 times as much to attend and stand behind a table to meet people that I'll just introduce you to? Besides that, most conferences are, this is for engineers. So people who sell software to engineers want to sponsor it. This is everything to anybody who wants to come, and who wants to sponsor friends of Joe Hage that like ice cream. There's no like market there except for me, I guess. Anyhow, so yeah,
Don't
this is really
undersell it.
about community.
Let's move on to the
Okay,
topic.
Sean. It's
And
the first Sean-led webinar I've ever kind of co-led. So I'm
right, he's got to
following his lead.
cooperate with me. So, okay, tell us about Dr. Anthony Chang.
First, Anthony was going to be here today, and let's see.
Yeah, what's the email?
Sorry?
You
Yeah,
got
he
an
sent me,
email?
no, I was going, actually, he just wrote me back. So he was supposed to speak today, and he said, I'm really sorry, I don't think I can make it. I'm supposed to appear in front of Congress right now, which is all else equal, a pretty good reason to miss this webinar. And then he said, I just sent him the link just in case, and he said, can you text it to me? And yes, I will, but Sean has me doing all these things and I can't do it right now, but I will.
Okay,
Anthony is the,
I'll introduce Anthony.
I'll introduce Anthony. He's my buddy. He's been there 5 times. Lovely man. And he is a pediatric cardiac surgeon, the head of the department at Children's Hospital of Orange County, and happens to, on the side, have created a group called AI for Medicine, AI Med. And his conference routinely has more than 1,000 people attend. The punchline, you can read what Sean wrote here. The punchline is AI is everywhere, everywhere. And it's happening to medicine as well. He's also, by the way, when he has time, a teacher. And what I thought was really interesting is most teachers are afraid of AI, like they're just going to AI the answer and hand it in. He encourages them to use AI because he said, why would I remove a real world tool from them? Instead, I say, use your AI, and then you, human being, I want you to tell me, what do you think of that answer? Is it, appropriate? Is it right? Do you agree? And kind of talk about the tension between what is machine learning and what's real. Just today, I typed to Zoom in a panic. I chatted, is there a way to send a message out within an hour? And it said, yes, there is. And you have to do it well in advance of an hour. And I said, no, I only have 30 minutes. And it said, oh, okay. So there are, there are mistakes. So very, very lovely man. And we'll likely have him back. Oh, we almost have him every year, as we do Maurizio. Alyssa, why don't you talk to us about Maurizio?
A pleasure. So probably the worst mistake I've performed, and I told Maurizio this, was as a founder and CEO of Illuminate, was sitting next to Maurizio, unknowingly who he was, and at breakfast at 10X 3 years ago. And Maurizio asked what I did, and I explained what the company, that were therapeutic, orthopedic, and 3D printed hardware and our first product is a pedicle screw, that's 3D printed porous, and we want to deliver therapeutics in the long run through the device. Maurizio immediately said, "Do you need funding?" And I said, "I don't know, to be honest with you. I think we have secured one of the biggest neurosurgeons in the country, if not the world, potentially. And I said, can I get back with you? And he asked me 3 times throughout that day if I needed funding. And so for anybody out there raising capital, keep going, never say no, just keep going and see what presents itself throughout time, because over time, he goes, listen to he goes, I'm the opening speaker today. He goes, listen to it. We might want to talk after this. And so at that point, I found out that the person sitting next to me at breakfast was the executive vice president for Bill Gates, his Good Health Initiative for global good. And so Maurizio is an amazing human being. His goal is to literally help provide their options to help people across the globe from a healthcare initiative. He helped start the Terasaki Institute. He is at the Washington Alliance, a Washington Healthcare Alliance, I think. I believe he might be even part of the World Health Organization. Just an extraordinary human being.
And he's as warm as his photo suggests.
He is just a genuinely good human being, and who loves his family and is proud of what he does, and is just a true limitless person whom is the type of person I want to surround myself with and always encourage my son to be around. So I couldn't speak more highly of Maurizio, and hopefully we have some opportunity with him in our Series A round.
So yes, if Maurizio ever says, do you want my money? The answer is okay.
Absolutely. How quickly? Close
Now,
that deal.
Michelle, where'd you go? I know you're on the call. Where'd your pretty picture go? There she goes. Can you tell us about this next speaker?
Yeah, so like Joe mentioned at the start of the call, I am a 5-time alumni of 10X, and I have been also a sponsor for, I believe, at least 3 of those times.
And I just said before how I don't ask people to pay a lot extra to be a sponsor. Same for you. I appreciate a little extra support, because when Michelle does give me a little extra, I'm able to make tickets available for people between jobs and startups and students. And, they add a lot.
Yeah. And I've had several students come up and personally thank me for the opportunity to go to 10X and how much it's impacted them in just a day or two. So yes, so I'm Michelle Lott. I am the principal and founder of Lean RAQA. We specialize in helping startups and small companies. That's really my niche. Tailored quality and regulatory solutions around the people's type of product based on risk and the type of activities that they conduct as well. A lot of startups have contract manufacturers, and so therefore there's a lot of things not in scope of what they do. And a lot of consultants are like a one-size-fits-all solution for startups, and they'll have quality management systems or regulatory solutions that exceed their ability to support them properly. So we have created the fractional QA role.
What does that mean exactly?
It's much like a fractional CFO, but instead of you hiring, say, on-staff quality engineer, quality associate to manage your quality management system and your changes, you would have a contract with me, and me and my team manage you and your company from a regulatory and quality perspective for more of a kind of package price like a CFO would.
I earned the privilege of leading the medical devices group 13 years ago. And in all that time, Michelle, you are likely the most requested, hey, Joe, can you introduce me to person of everyone? So
I borrowed the Albert Einstein philosophy of make it as simple as possible, but not simpler. So we solve some pretty complex problems, in the most straightforward way possible. And I think that speaks to a lot of people in the startup space.
We didn't practice this, and you might be like, Joe, why did you say that? But that's kind of how it works. Can you motivate the folks on this call to give you a ring, because you'll give them a special doohickey if they do it because they were on today's call? Friends of Joe Hage or something?
Show if you, Joe, you share the link that I just shared with you, the host and panelists, with everyone. It is a link to a 14-page QMSR cheat sheet created by Michelle Lott, which explains in a nutshell everything you need to know about QMSR. And Show is putting that in the link. It's a smart link on LinkedIn. Show you can just download it from there. There's a hidden download button. If you look to the left and hover, then you'll be able to download the thing. A lot of people miss the download on LinkedIn because LinkedIn doesn't want to explain to you how to use it on
I
platform.
can give you the screen later if we have time.
Right.
And by the way, a plug for Sean, because he's doing Michelle's marketing these days, and why that was ready. Okay. Nick Anderson. Who wants to take Nick? I will. I love him. He's one of my, I would say, of all the people that I've met this last 13 years, he's one of my very favorites. He is, again, just so much warmth and so giving. His real job is father of 6, and he works for Boston Scientific, and he works on health economics and reimbursement, and his reports go to the CEO of this $108 billion company. But on the side, he answers any question I ever have from me or any of my friends about reimbursement. He is an encyclopedically knowledge man who can tell you CPT codes and DRG codes and codes that I can't even tell you what the acronyms are, and they're like this, and he can explain to you. He used to be the person at Intermountain Health who decided thumbs up or thumbs down about whether the insurance company would cover the product you're pitching. So if you are looking for how come I'm not getting reimbursed, or how do I go about getting reimbursement, Nick is just a godsend. And because it's not his full-time job these days, he works very closely with our friends April and Fernanda at TTI Health Economics, an excellent group as well. They weren't able to attend this year, but still, in the spirit of this family that we have, they wanted to make it available for folks, and they sponsored anyhow. April has a special for friends of Joe and 10X and the like. So if you're interested, you can leave a message in today's chat, or you can catch me afterward, and I can put you in touch with.
If I could say this about Nick, you said that I've been the most requested to introduce people to. Well, for me, he's been probably the top person I've referred people out to. And so we are starting to share projects and work collaboratively. And, we've spoken off and on kind of at the same times. And now he and I are developing a whole platform that we hope we're going to turn into a curriculum called the ABCs of R&R. And we're not talking about rest and relaxation, because regulatory and reimbursement are kind of the opposite of that for how you're going to feel after a discussion with either of us. So be on the lookout for that. And, that's Nick and I having fun with it, but it's going to be super educational. It wouldn't have been possible without this connection at MDG.
And one thing, and to extrapolate upon that, one thing that I learned through Nick was looking at the value analysis process as a in a completely different light. For example, when he was talking about last year about looking at breast cancer therapies, the survivorship of breast cancer has not changed over the last 20 years. I mean, it's a pretty high survivorship now. There's no cancer therapeutics, but no cancer that has more funding going towards it, but the survivorship hasn't increased. So from a value analysis perspective, they're looking at, okay, if we're going to spend additional money and put resources towards something, would we rather put our resources towards a product that can give other people that high of a shot of remission? And I thought that was so valuable, what he brought together, brought to the table. And also for, I wasn't able to mention for Dr. Chang, when he gave a little pearl tip about how Chat GPT actually has can register emotions. It's smart enough to start gauging emotions. So when he types in to Chat GPT, he uses please, thank you, politeness, and the room actually recognized that their responses were better when they were kinder to Chat GPT. I thought those were fun little pearls.
That's fascinating. Okay.
If I can add a little bit about my experience with, I really enjoyed Nick's presentation, because before that, I had no idea. You can read volumes, but still don't know how to connect HCPCS codes with CPT codes, with DRG codes. It's a maze out there. And the way he explained it just made it not, I shouldn't say simple, but it just, you could digest it, you could absorb it.
Shabir,
So I
tell
really
the
appreciate
folks at home who you are.
So I'm Shabir Bambor. I actually run a medical device company focused on breast imaging. My company's name is Fisher Imaging.
I'll tell you, and you're a great example of this. Unfortunately, not on the call today is a friend, Jose Boorquez, and he's come a number of times. And he is a consultant. He's the person I refer if you're working on anything mobile, wireless, and connected. And he told me how the very first time he came to 10X, he was a little disappointed because he came as a consultant thinking about all of the manufacturers that he could maybe meet and, make clients and come home and be like, look at all these prospects I have. And he said, that's not what happened, because traditionally, almost every year, 2/3 of the people who come are consultants helping manufacturers. And he suggested even this year, he said, why don't you, narrow it down and make it just for consultants? He said, because I go to shows that are designed to get me leads, and I get more leads coming out of your event, which is not even designed for it, than them, because of how familiar we are and how much cross-reference business, and he even sends business to someone who would traditionally be a competitor if it's a way that they can collaborate. So really interesting. And I said, well, I can't do that. What do you want me to uninvite Shabir? He's like, no. I'm like, well, he's a manufacturer. He's like, okay, but I'm like, well, no. So sorry. Just I try to manage expectations, but
Well, thank you, Joe.
yeah, that's for you, man.
So you're going to make Nick's presentation available so that everybody can learn about reimbursement. Is that correct?
You're asking me? You're the guy who recorded it.
Okay. I'll make the presentations available.
Thanks. And so a quick anecdote and aside, and that's just the way it goes. This was to be my last one. I advertised it that way. I said, this is it. And the reason for that is I've been doing this for a while. This was my 14th. And as I alluded earlier, I don't have a team. We don't have $100,000 marketing budget and outreach and all that stuff. It's just kind of me. And it started because not the industry needed another medical device event, but because I wanted to meet the people that I was interacting with online back in the day when LinkedIn didn't fuck up groups entirely. And back in 2013, 14, 15, the group, Medical Devices Group, which has 350,000 members worldwide, was growing by 1,000 or 2,000 members a week. And it was a robust place before they detonated it anyhow. But still, the average number of times a person has come to the event is 4.5 now, because it's our annual event. We come together, and especially those folks who come to our calls every Friday. It's like, thank God I can finally meet these people in person. And there's lots of ice cream. So anyhow, I don't remember why I started that story. Sorry, and not sorry. This is a regulatory one, so let me hand it back to Michelle and tell us a bit about what Matthias had to say about MDR, a topic about which you know a thing or two.
Yep. So I was really fascinated by Matthias, and he works for Basil Accra at the Accra group or Accra team. So many of you will recognize Basil's name because he used to run TubeSud. He also used to work with Matthias at TubeSud. So these are very high profile people in Europe and very influential in the early stages of MDR. So they really understand the ins and outs of it. One thing that I was interested in his perspective of, having boots on the ground there in Europe was that they feel like the notified bodies had plenty of resources to take on the challenges and the capacity issues. And they didn't feel like capacity was an issue any longer with the notified bodies being able to take new clients and issue CE marks. So I found that perspective because I don't think that that's necessarily the message that we're getting here on the other side of the pond. And definitely for the startups and small companies, I am still having a challenge getting, notified bodies to even acknowledge the email and do a quote. I do agree that if you're a big company with lots of money, that they're gonna, you're worth their resources for the capacity that they have available.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another example. Dave's a pretty big deal. And sometimes I marvel at the fact that, he's come 3 times. When I first even heard about him, I was like, I think I met him at a Daniel Kraft's, back then it was called Exponential Medicine Conference. This is a major event that he hosts in Del Mar. And David, if you don't know, is the founder of AliveCore, which makes Cardia, which is a credit card-sized device you can keep in your wallet that can monitor your heart. And he's been in the news a bit because he's in a legal battle with a company called Apple, based out of Cupertino, California. And it's escalated to the point where it crossed the executive desk. Joe Biden had a say in, the way this thing is proceeding, because it is alleged that Apple commandeered some of his code for their watch. And for a time, the watch sale was suspended. So this is a really big battle, and he's got somewhere in the neighborhood of 90 patents, a cardiologist, and he's just telling us story after story of people writing him saying how, in effect, he saved their life. And he comes and just riffs with us about what it's like to run a company like this and the challenges. And what's amazing, typically we have after him one of our go-tos for intellectual property, either Greg Grissett, and this year we had Randy from US Inventor, talking about the perils of trying to be an inventor these days because of how easy it is for a company like Apple to poach, and just a back and forth about what to do if your backer isn't Vinod Khosla. So really important conversations for so many entrepreneurs.
What I really enjoyed,
and here they are.
if I
Yeah,
can,
please.
So the Dave, really mapped out the journey to $100 million in revenue for a medical device company, taking on something the size of Apple, taking on something like Microsoft, really that a small company can compete, and the differentiator for him was the fact that he is the expert. He is the expert on this technology. He is the expert. And so the thing is that having an expert run company as opposed to a CEO run company, or don't really know my way around this technology company, is really the differentiator. And so when he needs help, he's able to go to a vast network of people that support him. show, it really is a lesson in how to scale your business. It was fascinating.
I think I've kind of touched on this slide, so I'll go to the next. Once again, I'll call on Alyssa if you want to tell us a thing or two about Mark. I'll just say that I was so impressed with his humility and humanity. This is the first time I met him in person, and I don't know, maybe I've watched too many movies, but I just associate people who run hundreds of millions of dollars as being assholes. Sorry if anyone's watching with children. Alyssa?
So Mark Viscogliosi has been on my radar since probably day one of starting this company 5 years ago. And Mark's fully aware of it. And I want to put a disclaimer out there. Mark has not committed whatsoever to investing in our company. I don't want to, we are still just having conversations. So, but the reason why I have been pursuing the Viscogliosi brothers and only the Viscogliosi brothers as a VC partner is because they've done so well in pioneering extraordinary technology that actually solves problems in the market. And they understand orthopedics and spine and biologics inside and out. And they're humble enough to hire those around with their consulting company, Marcom, to they're humble enough to have specialists in every single sector when it comes to creating registries, bringing a product to market, new CPT codes, so on and so forth. There is no VC better in orthopedic spine biologic space. And so I sincerely reached out to Mark several times throughout the years and actually met him in the elevator going up to meet with a manufacturing CEO of a big company. And I literally gave him the elevator pitch a couple years ago and was so excited. It was my opportunity to meet Mark Viscogliosi. And so he's a humble man, an amazingly insightful analyst, and he's been doing it for 30 years, knows the space inside and out. And he created his presentation demonstrating how to raise capital in this very tumultuous time where it's demonstrated, research has demonstrated there was a 95% reduction in startup funding by VCs in comparison to Q1 of 2022. 95% is unheard of. So what his expertise provided from a founder's standpoint is just so insightful, so needed right now, because if that market goes away for a time, I have to understand what I have left to work with. And I couldn't be more proud to know Mark. He is an amazing human being. And he always said at the last meeting when we were in New York, he said, Alyssa, just focus on getting it to market. The money will come. Don't even worry about the money. And that's exactly why I like to align with him, is that's my philosophy as well. One foot in front of the other, change people's lives, and the money is totally off the topic. It will come.
Because I'm feeling the love in the room, I'm sharing a link with everyone. And this is a link to every PDF that I have captured, every video that we have, and even the videos that I played between breaks, as well as a list of everyone who attended, if you want to reach out to them for an opinion or advice, etc., because pretty much anyone who attended gets the point that we're bigger than just our companies, and we're all here for a good reason to help the world's health. Next. Sean, why don't you take this one?
Right. So this was an interesting presentation because this came from a brand agency, um, and they were talking about using AI-powered patient-centric strategies in MedTech branding. And so they're working directly with MedTech brands, and they're helping them transform their messaging and enhance brand loyalty through AI. You know, it's a topic that's close to home for me because branding, a brand strategy is having a solid brand strategy for your company is important. But I think that what made it really interesting is this is what I tell my clients is you don't need to be great at AI, you just need to be a little bit better than the next person, right? And so the things that they were saying were not earth-shattering, but they're definitely giving their clients an advantage over the next company that's not using AI to help build their brand. That would be my summary.
I think that captures it nicely. And I don't think Jan's on the phone, but Friday people will recognize Jan as the packaging engineer. Everything she talks about is packaging, and once again, just lovely. And if you didn't know, this is my one factoid that I remember from Jan, is that the box that you put your device in is the device, according to FDA. It's part of the thing. So oftentimes she's been brought in well after the point when she should have been brought in. And people are like, here it is. Can you help me with the box? And she's asked things like, did you do a drop test? And other things that are well beyond my expertise, which is why we call on Jan. I want to call on Nick next. In our haste, we didn't put together a slide for you, Nick, but you also presented. Can you capture for us both your experience at 10X? It was your first time, and a little about what you talked about.
Yeah, no, not a problem. So thank you so much, Joe. Thank you, Sean, for putting this together. This is my first 10X. I've been to many med device conferences, spoke at many med device conferences for Fierce Life Sciences, for those that know that company. I've attended LSI, spoken at events for Momentum events. I don't know if they're still hosting med device events, but had the pleasure of attending and speaking at various med device conferences. And, what really, not only held my attention, but wanted me to, continue to help Joe as much as possible is it's really a family, oriented environment. It's really, someone who genuinely cares not only about, the industry, but people. And I think a lot of time, well, not a lot of times, I think why everyone gets into, healthcare, medical devices, how can we make an impact on people, make an impact on patients? And I think that same care and level of being genuine and willingness to help is really, peppered in throughout this entire conference and this overall experience. So for me, I don't, Joe says it's a family reunion. I almost would call it a family reunion because it doesn't feel, like a conference. But a little bit of background about myself and, what I spoke about at the conference is I've been in the med device industry for 10 years. um, you know, held multiple positions in the digital marketing space for companies such as Medtronic, Teleflex, and now currently with Noah Medical, they're a medical robotics company. Robot diagnoses lung cancer. And during my time at speaking at 10X, I was able to touch upon omni-channel marketing and the importance of delivering a message on multiple digital channels and how it can help not only on the B2B side of business, but the B2C side of the business, and being able to reach through multiple channels. I think a lot of times when people think of digital marketing, their mind automatically goes to social media or automatically goes to email marketing, or which one is better. But just really being able to take a message and create a overall encompassing experience. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And Nick and I connected just weeks before the event, and I was so impressed with his zeal that I had to get him out there. And as I began earlier, this was to be my last one. And folks came up to me during the conference with variations on the theme of, no, it's not, and you know you're going to do it again, and I insist that you do it again, and please do it again, and what are we going to do if you don't do it again? And I said, okay, well, that's nice. And I'll gladly come, I'll gladly hold the mic, and I'll gladly tell jokes, and I'll show fun videos, but I don't want to worry about hotel occupancy anymore. And I don't want to be depressed every April because I feel like I haven't gotten enough people to come, and then I want it to be more robust, and I don't want to deal with $150 a gallon coffee. I said, so if you guys really want to do this, I'm going to need some help. And they said, yeah. Nick said, yeah. Sean said, yeah. Everyone on this that you can see right now said, yeah. So I'm kind of off. I'm just kind of sitting back, and I mean, this webinar idea was Sean's. I've never done this before. It's a great idea. I guess I've just been too tired. So I was thinking of, like, next year we call it 20X because it's at least twice me doing it. Susie, you're one of my favorites. Would you tell the kind folks? We were talking this weekend because Sue has an invention that's really great, and full disclosure, I'm an investor in it now. And so I was kind of just throwing some advice, some marketing advice. And at one point she said, oh, now I'm going to cry. And I'm like, okay, Susie, you don't have to cry. Why were you going to cry on Saturday?
Mostly because of you, Joe. And I think I can speak for the group when you offer compassion, honesty, advice, and just a pure wisdom of everything that you're doing, and you're purely transparent, and you've built a community of family. You know, Nellie Bushman is family to me. Sean is now family to me, and Elise, we've been sisters for the last couple of years, and we all support each other, and we all offer value, and we all pay it forward. And there's a lot to be said for that. And this was my second 10X. I felt so comfortable at my first one that I had to come back for my second one. And I feel like if I need anything, all I have to do is call Joe, and he's going to know the right person. Like with the sterilization down in California, I got right on. I still have his voicemail, so I know how to contact him right away if I need something sterilized. And I have a little product that's going to improve healthcare
And make Joe rich. Go on.
And make Joe rich. It's called Frog Filter Removal of Glass. I just happen to have one here. It's the only all-in-one package, one needle filter device, ensuring a safer, easier, quicker way of administration for both the healthcare and the patient provider.
So is there ever a time you don't?
Yeah. What?
Is there ever a time you don't have one on you? Just curious.
No.
Elizabeth, you didn't get a chance to come this year, but you too are one of the folks who says how many people in the MDG Premium Network you've, as a manufacturer, ended up asking for help. How many are they? Nick?
So, yeah, I'm sorry I missed this year. Our daughter was getting married in Joshua Tree, California. That's it.
You either invited the entire wedding party. That was an option.
Right. So, yeah,
Congratulations.
I have engaged with at least 5 people from MDG, and through Michelle Lott, I have my commercialization person who's been with me for almost 2 years. And I've got to jump off the call pretty soon because I've got another call coming up right now. Anyway, the bottom line is I agree with what everyone has said. Sue and I met at Ignite in a founders pitch competition for women. And Alyssa and I have been in touch and out of touch, and we're still in touch. So you really have created a family, and I literally have engaged with at least 5 people. And that has propelled my company. And we're now in sales, just beginning, but we now have some sales across the country. and about to engage with some other potential big strategic partners all of a sudden. So thank you, Joe. It's all because of this MDG group.
Well, not all
100%.
because, not all because, but thank you.
Yeah, well, for me it is, because I'm sitting in San Antonio and COVID hit. I didn't know where to go. I couldn't go anywhere. And I had this very simple concept that has been difficult to, first of all, find a manufacturer, which we've done. Anyway, everyone, Nick, Michelle Lott's my regulatory person. The list goes on and on, all from MDG. So I will be at next year's. Thank you.
Lovely. I'm
Sign me
putting
up.
in the chat for everybody an email address. And if you send me an email with the subject line, I want to come, I'll give you $100 off next year's event.
Oh, there we go. It's
So
happening.
that's for anyone either on the call now or who decides to sit through the webinar and gets to the 50th minute. And that's not going to happen. So really it's for the people on the call right now.
Right.
The
Thank
only
you.
person on the screen from whom we've not heard, if not here, Suze, you have to send an email, is Olu, who brings the funky. And shit, this was her first time. And what was 10X like for you, and what do you do for a living?
Yeah, thanks, Joe. I can't even put it in words, and I know that sounds cheesy, but for me, it's amazing. Really, really good networking, getting to meet people, real people, especially people that you get to, see via Friday calls. So it's really, truly a family. Like I've made so many connections. I can't even explain. I still feel so stoked, just in general. What do? I consult in the quality regulatory space, in school, USC, getting my doctorate in regulatory sciences, and just here talking to all my classmates and trying to see who all wants to join. I mean, because I think this is a great family, and this is something that half of you wants to kind of hide and keep to yourself, like, oh, I just want this small family, I want it to grow. But then the other half's like, nah, you want to share, you want everybody to be a part of it. So thank you. No, really, I
You want
mean,
it to be a secret.
no, it would be nice, but no, just so many amazing people. Sue, Nelly.
You know, what I love about it most is that to me, it really is like a vacation, but imagine like going on a cruise where everybody on the ship has something in common. They all know about or care about
Right,
healthcare
right.
and medical devices and
Right.
that stuff. It's like anyone you just stop at the bar, which we, do, and we're just chatting. It's like, oh, did you know that? And, I know this guy.
Right.
So I've never gone to a conference that made me feel that way. And so that's what I decided to do. I tell people to a person, if you need to justify your ROI to your boss, don't come. If you plan on like going home with a bunch of prospects, you're not welcome, because it's like, if I invited you to my family reunion and you showed up and you're like, hi, everyone, here's my business card, I'd be like, really? That's just not cool, man. We're hanging out. Just be a person, and you'll have a chance to talk and you'll have a chance to listen. And if you come and it's all about you and what you can get out of it, you're not getting the point. It's either you're part of the group and you want to hear what everyone has to say, and there's a lot of synergy in it. So
Yeah, no, I agree. And I would like to echo that and say that, for me, there were various things. There was access to experts, which was really important. I met Sue and Nellie and Olufunke, and I was really like astounding to me to get access to all the speakers, but not just the speakers. Everyone in the room was an expert at something, right? And so to learn about document control and virtual QMS and that sort of thing from Nelly was really eye-opening to me, because everyone brings a slightly different perspective to the larger topics of, you know, regulatory compliance and product development and reimbursement and all and funding and all those different aspects. And so to me, it was like getting all that information in one place, access to the people, and then and it was fun. You know, it was welcoming. It was not like one of those giant conferences where you're like, can I sit here? Oh, what do you do?
Can I
You
sit here? That's funny.
you know, so yeah, I can't recommend it highly enough. That's it for me.
I'll just show my screen one more time and say how I really meant it. I changed my LinkedIn to say that my profile is helping medical device friends, but kind of retiring. So as plainly as I can say it, I'm quite lazy now. I take naps and I don't care. But when a friend calls or pings me on Slack and says, hey, Joe, do you know? Yeah, I probably do. And I can put you in touch with them. So it's really quite passive. But I'm here. And as long as diligent elves like Sean are willing to help this thing keep going, well, it'll keep going. So I appreciate all of you on screen and those of you who chose to come to our little conference today. I see some names of folks who are alumni who chose not to come on camera. Bob Marshall has spoken twice and brought his guitar and sung songs about FDA, which was a real treat. Hitesh has come twice, gifted speaker, and I'm just glad to see virtually at least. So keep in touch, come, ping me, whatever, and we are looking at the same place, which was the Hyatt in Newport Beach, May 6th, 7, and 8. I'm not sure about the 6th. 6 is if we do a keynote and reception, but definitely 7 and 8 for the conference. So, you know, set it aside now. And if the price is just too much for you, talk to me, because I don't like to have somebody who wants to be there not be there. And I don't want money to be an obstacle. It's really expensive to host these things. Like I said, it cost me $10 to give you a cup of coffee. It costs $33 a person for ice cream. Yes. What? Anyhow, so I do need to charge, but I'm sure we can make it work. Any final thoughts from the gallery here?
I'd like
Susie?
to thank everyone that showed up.
Thank you,
And
Sean.
apologize for the confusion with Zoom platform and LinkedIn platforms. Don't really know how that happened, but you know, I'm glad everyone could make it, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. See you soon, virtually or
Thank you,
otherwise.
Sean. Thank you,
Thank
Joe,
you.
for all
Yeah.
that you
Bye-bye.
do.
Bye for now.